हेलो स्टूडेंट, तो लास्ट लेक्चर में हमने देखा था फोटोसिंथेसिस, दैट इज वन ऑफ योर लाइफ प्रोसेस. नाउ इन दिस सेशन वी आर लर्निंग अबाउट ह्यूमन न्यूट्रिशन. ओके, फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द ह्यूमन न्यूट्रिशन फर्स्ट you have to understand the human digestive system. What is mean by this digestive system? Digestion means whatever the food you take in, then it is the digested into your digestive system, and then whatever the complex form is converted into the simple form, then it is absorbed into the bloodstream, and then you get the nutrient from it. This all entire process we call it as the human digestive system. Means in shortly, it is the sum of all process, that is the digestion. Digestion means taking food into your body, then this complex food is digested into the simple absorbable form, that is called digestion. Then after that absorption takes place into the blood vessels, after where it requires it is a supplied, that is the assimilation. Then digestion. Digestion means undigested food that is not required by our body is expelled out from our body, that we call digestion, or you may call it as the defecation. Yes, defecation. I hope all these concepts are clear to you. See, the nutrition is a sum up of digestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and finally digestion, that is a defecation. Human digestive system consisting of the two components, first one alimentary canal and the second one that is your digestive gland. What is meant by alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is just like simply tubular structure, this one. Then these tubular structure is modified into the different organ. Just like see, this is the alimentary canal. After that it modified into the muscular J-shaped structure, means your stomach. Then it is highly coiled to form the small intestine. Then after that its width is larger, then we call it as the large intestine. After that the end of alimentary canal is the anus. Means it starts from mouth and ends with the anus, is nothing but the alimentary canal, and its total length is 9 meters in long. How much it is? Yes, 9 meters in long. The second component is the digestive gland. Digestive glands, why they are the important in the human digestive system? As they secrete the digestive juice. These juice contain some enzymes, and these enzymes are responsible for your digestion process. In a human digestive system, there are the three kinds of the digestive glands. First one, salivary gland, that is present in your mouth cavity. Second one, pancreas, and the third one, liver. Duodenum is a part of small intestine, means in shortly, liver and pancreas, it is present in the gap between your stomach. See, it is present in the gap between your stomach and small intestine, and this is the duodenum. Here the pancreas and here your liver. Okay, these are two glands, and here in buccal cavity salivary glands is present. So in shortly, these three pairs are the responsible for the digestion process. First one salivary gland, second liver, and the third one pancreas. Our digestive system, I am already telling you that it is made up of digestive canal, is nothing but your alimentary canal, and this one supplementary structure means the digestive glands. Okay, these are digestive, or you may call the alimentary canal. It starts from mouth, then pharynx, then esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. We already understand through the last diagram. Then supplementary structure means the digestive glands are here. The first one salivary gland, then liver, and the pancreas. I hope this is clear. The alimentary canal starts from mouth and ends with the anus. Let's see the first part, that is the mouth, this one. Okay, so it is guarded by your upper lip and lower lip. Then after mouth there is a buccal cavity, or you may call it as the mouth cavity or oral cavity. You may call it as the mouth cavity or the oral cavity. See, it is the cavity one. Okay, so this is the mouth cavity, and its roof is called the palate, and the sides by the jaws, and this cavity is below. Here the below side there is the throat one. Okay, then it is lined by special kind of the cells, that is a squamous epithelium, and the next one some mucus secreting cells is there. Okay, and they form the membrane around the cavity. We call it as the mucous membrane. Means in shortly, your mouth cavity consisting of the three parts. First one teeth, then tongue, then last one but not the least one, that is a salivary gland. Let's see the first part of your oral cavity, that is the tongue. See, tongue is a thick muscular organ and its upper surface bear some numerous projections like this one. These we call papillae. And these papillae contain your taste bud, means that is useful for sense of the taste. These next function is whatever the saliva secreted by the salivary gland, these saliva mix with the food with the help of movement of tongue. And the next one, it helps in deglutition. Deglutition means swallowing. After the mixing with saliva, it passed into the esophagus by, yes, this one is the swallowing. This is the function all about the tongue. Now, see the next component of your oral cavity. Teeth are the hard structure that are responsible for the mastication, is a chewing of your complex substances into simple form. Is that large molecules are converted into the small molecules. Okay. See, what is meant by this decodant? Decodant means that your teeth are fixed into the jaw. This is called decodant. The teeth are fixed into the jaw is called the decodant. And the next one, that is a heterodont. Heterodont means, hetero means different. Okay. And don't means teeth. Means a human being possesses the different kinds of the teeth. But which kinds of teeth? The first one, that is the incisors. They are made for biting and cutting type. The first one, that is the incisors. They are useful for the biting and cutting. Next one, canines. Canines for the ripening and shredding. Premolar are used for grinding, and same molars are also used for the grinding. Teeth are the hard structure present in the oral cavity. They are useful for mastication purpose. Then decodant means a fixing of your teeth into the jaw. This we call decodant. After that, heterodont. Heterodont means different kinds of the teeth, just like the incisors, canines, premolar and the molar. Okay. See, teeth are fixed in the jaw. Let's see. This is upper jaw. This is lower jaw. Okay. And this is the half portion. This is the right side of your upper jaw. This right side consisting of incisor, canines, premolar and the molar. Same opposite side also contain incisors, canine, premolar and the molar. But how much in number? See, incisors are 2 in number, canines 1, premolar 2, molar 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. Same on the left side, that is the 2, 1, 2, 3. Means your upper jaw contain incisor total 4, canines 2, premolar 2 and molar 6. Same lower jaw contain 4, 2, 4, 6. Here 16, here 16. Total 32 teeth present. Yes. This is your dental formula: incisor, canine, premolar and molar. Let's see the next component of oral cavity. The next and the first digestive gland that is present in mouth cavity is nothing but the salivary gland. It secretes the saliva and these saliva contains some enzyme. It have 3 pairs of salivary gland. First one, that is the parotid. Parotid is present in at your cheek region. Then next one, sublingular. Sub means below and lingular means your tongue. Means below tongue it is present. Then next one, submandibular. Submandibular, it is present below your jaw. These are the 3 pairs of salivary gland: parotid, then sublingular and the submandibular. Now we completed the mouth cavity. Now move towards the pharynx. Pharynx is the tube-like structure and it is the common passage for your food pipe as well your wine pipe. See, the buccal cavity, here your buccal cavity that leads to the tubular structure, we call it as a pharynx, and its lowest part has the two kinds of opening. The first one we call it as the glottis, which leads to trachea, like this one. This leads to trachea, and these opening we call it as the glottis. Next one, there is also one more opening, we call it as the gullet, and it leads to pipe-like structure that we call food pipe. Yes, that is nothing but the esophagus. Okay, then move towards the esophagus, because in this session we are learning about the digestive system. So we are focused on only the esophagus, not on the trachea or the windpipe. Let's see more about the esophagus. Esophagus is 25 centimeter long. Its length is 25 centimeter long. It is a narrow muscular tube that connects pharynx to here the stomach. Okay, that connects the pharynx to the stomach. This connection is made by the esophagus. Then food moves through esophagus by alternate contraction and relaxation. Like this one. Here the food is there, it is contracted, this part is relaxed, again this part is contract, again lower side is relaxed. In this way, alternate contraction relaxation, the food moves downward into the stomach. Let's see more about the next part of the digestive system, that is the stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped muscular sac, like this one. Okay, its shape is a J shape, and its length is 25 centimeter long. Its length is 25 centimeter long, and it is divided into the three parts. First one, cardiac. This is cardiac, means where the esophagus open into the stomach. This is called the cardiac. The next one, fundus. Fundus means above the cardiac. See, up to this is the cardiac, and above the cardiac there is a dome shape like structure, we call it as a fundus. And last, this one we call it as the pyloric, or you may call it as a pylorus. Okay, this is the region where it opens into the small intestine. Okay, means in shortly, stomach have the three structure: cardiac, then fundus, then pyloric. It's clear? Fine. It also consisting of two types of the sphincter. Sphincter means they are the muscular opening where the food is pushed into the stomach. There is a sphincter present in the cardiac region. We call it as the cardiac sphincter. What is the function of this sphincter? This sphincter prevents the food back into the esophagus. It prevents the food back into the esophagus. That is a function of cardiac sphincter. The next sphincter, that is a pyloric sphincter, is present in your pyloric region. That prevents the food back into the stomach. This is the function of cardiac and the pyloric sphincter. Then in shortly, what is the function of stomach? See, it's partially churn the food. It partially churn the food into the small pieces, and some digestive juice are secreted here inside the stomach and mix the food with this digestive, or you may call it as the gastric juice, as these are present in the stomach. We call it as the gastric juice. The next part is small intestine. See here, from stomach, this tubular highly coiled structure, we call it as a small intestine. Small intestine also contain the three parts. The first part is duodenum. Duodenum means it is the C-shaped like structure which open into the small intestine, or you may call it as the initial part of the small intestine, and its shape is important, that is a C shape. Okay, and here the pancreas is present, and above it the liver is present. Means in shortly, pancreatic and your liver, both juice are open into the duodenum. Okay, the next one, that is a jejunum. Jejunum, it is the short part of the small intestine. Ileum, it is the longest part or the final part of the small intestine that opens into the large intestine. Okay, that's all about the small intestine. Let's see the next one, large intestine. The large intestine are of three parts. First one, cecum. Cecum is the initial part of large intestine. Means after the ileum, there is the continue of cecum. Then colon. Colon has three parts: ascending colon, transverse colon, and this is the descending colon. Okay, then final part is here, that is a rectum. Rectum, where your undigested food is a temporary store. See, cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum present at the junction of ileum and colon. By the ileocacal wall is present at the junction of cecum and ileum. What is the function of this valve? As it prevents the backward flow of food, same kind. Okay, then in cecum, the most important, the vestigial organ is present. Vestigial means they are not using one. Okay, now in present condition, these vermiform appendix is not used by the human beings. The ancient times it is used because these Asian peoples eat the raw material just like the food one, vegetables. Okay, for the digestion of it, appendix is useful, but nowadays appendix is the vestigial organ. Then the next one, colon, ascending colon, transverse and the descending colon. Then descending colon is extended into the rectum. Then anus means what? Anus means the rectum opens outside the body. Okay, and this is we call the anus. It is guarded by the sphincter-like structure and it removes the undigested material. Undigested material means these material not used by your body. By the process, we call it as a defecation. Defecation, or you may call it as the egation. ये तो हो गया all about the alimentary canal. Now, this all about the alimentary canal. Now move towards the second part, that is the digestive gland. First one, salivary gland, we already know about the salivary gland. There are the three pairs of the salivary gland. First one, sublingual, submandibular and the parietal. These salivary glands are of two types of the cells. First one, that is your serous cell. Serous cells means it secretes the salivary amylase, and this amylase is important for the digestion of carbohydrate into the starch one. Okay. The next one, mucus cell. Mucus cell, from this name, it's secreting the mucus. Okay. It secretes the mucus. And what is the function of this mucus? It binds with the food particle for easily passed into the esophagus. It is easily swallowed and easily passed into the esophagus. That is all about the salivary gland. Now the next gland, that is the liver. Liver is the largest gland of our body and its weight is 1.5 kg. Imagine its weight is 1.5 kg and the largest gland in our body. So its color is, yes, its color is reddish brown in color. It is made up of two lobes and it produces the juice. Liver produces the juice. That juice we call it as the bile juice. The juice secreted by the stomach or the stomach cells. We call it as the gastric juice. Here the juice secreted by the liver, we call it as the bile juice. Okay. And this juice is produced or formed by the liver. That is a temporary store in these pouch-like, green pouch-like structure. We call it as the gallbladder. We call it as the gallbladder. The next one, what is the function of this liver? First function of liver, that is emulsification of fat. Emulsification means, see, this is the fat molecule. As these fat molecule is large in size, so it is not absorbed by our bloodstream. First, it is the breakdown into the small particles. And these individual small particles then absorbed by our blood. This breakdown of fat molecule into the smaller particle, we call it as the emulsification of fat. Then second, excess glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. This is the most important again. The excess glucose in your body is stored in the form of glycogen. The next one, excess amino acid. It is a nitrogenous waste product. The excess amino acid is converted into the ammonia by the process called deamination. Okay. So in shortly, liver has a three function. First one, emulsification of fat, is a breakdown of the fat. Then, or the second one, excess glucose is stored in the form of the glycogen. And the third one, amino acid is converted into the ammonia by the process of deamination. That's clear? Okay. Next and the last digestive gland, that is the pancreas. See, its shape is leaf-like one. Okay, its shape is a leaf-like one, and it is the lie between the stomach and the small intestine. Small intestine initial part, that is a duodenum here. Okay, it is a lie between the gap duodenum and the stomach. It is a mixed type of the gland because some part of we call it as the exocrine and some part is without ducts, that we call it as the endocrine. Okay, see, endocrine and the second one exocrine. Exocrine means they have duct and endocrine means they are without duct. As they are without duct means their secretion is directly poured into your bloodstream, and this part, exocrine part, having the duct, is their secretion is carried by the duct. Okay, so we call it, pancreas is called the mixed type of gland. In human digestion, there are two kinds of changes. The first one, physical change. Physical change, and the second one is chemical change. See, physical change means that large food molecules are broken down into the smaller ones. Okay, by mastication process is carried by the teeth. Then second, churning, then peristalsis movement. First one, mastication, then churning that occurs in stomach, then peristalsis movement means alternate contraction, relaxation. Yes, right one. Then second, chemical change. That chemical change is brought about by glands. Yes, digestive gland, salivary, liver and pancreas. Then let's see how our food is digested and how it is absorbed into the bloodstream. The first, we take in food, that is the egestion process, after the teeth are chew food or masticate the food to convert it into the smaller particles. Then tongue mix the food with the saliva that is secreted by the salivary gland. This saliva contain ptyalin, or you may call it as a salivary amylase. This salivary amylase acts on starch and convert it into the maltose. Okay? And the second one, that is it also secrete some lysozyme. Then what is the function of this lysozyme? It is antibacterial and it prevents the infection. See, after the mastication, then mixed with the saliva, the food is a form, or the ball of food is the form that we call it as the bolus. Bolus is a form in your mouth cavity or the oral cavity. Then this bolus is swallowed by the esophagus. Okay, esophagus by the action of tongue. Then the tongue pushes the bolus into the pharynx. After the pharynx, it passed into the esophagus. And this swallowing is we call it as the deglutition. After the peristalsis movement, food is pushed into the stomach. Then stomach, some gastric juice are secreted. First one HCl, second pepsinogen and the third one mucus. See about the HCl. See, bolus is come into the stomach and this bolus contain salivary amylase, and HCl stop the action of salivary amylase. It's a first function, it stop the action of salivary amylase. Second, it provides the acidic medium. For what purpose? This acidic medium convert the pepsinogen. Pepsinogen, this is the inactive form. Okay. This pepsinogen is converted into the pepsin in the presence of only the acidic medium. Means it provides the acidic medium, and this is responsible for conversion of pepsinogen into pepsin. The third function of HCl, it kills the bacteria that mix with the food. Okay, that bacteria is killed by the HCl. Then move towards the pepsinogen. This pepsinogen is converted into its active form in the presence of HCl, that is pepsin. Then these pepsin acts on protein, and proteins are converted into peptones and proteoses in the presence of pepsin. Then let's see mucus. What is the function of mucus? See, mucus form the protective layer around the stomach. This is your stomach. As it secretes the HCl. HCl is acidic in condition, so it also harms to the interior wall of the stomach. To protect from it, it forms the layer. Okay, this is the function of mucus. ये तो हो गया all about the stomach. Now move towards the small intestine. See, in a small intestine, the first part of small intestine, duodenum. Okay, in duodenum, bile juice is secreted, pancreatic juice is secreted, and some intestinal juice is secreted. These all three kinds of juice are secreted in a duodenum. And whatever the food remain in a duodenum, we call it as the chyme. The first one, bile juice. Bile juice, it is secreted by the liver. See, it helps to neutralize the acidic chyme. As the food is passed from the stomach, it contains the HCl, means it is the acidic in condition. Okay, to neutralize this acidic condition, bile helps it. The next, bile juice, it is the yellowish green in liquid. Okay, it is made up of water, some cholesterol, bile salts, and the bile pigments. But the most important here, the no enzyme. Bile contains no enzyme. It contains some water, cholesterol, bile salts, and bile pigments. See the first one, that is the bile salts. Bile salts, they helps in emulsification of fat. We already know it. And the next one, bile pigment. Bile pigment are of two types, bilirubin and biliverdin. Bilirubin and biliverdin are produced as a result of breakdown of hemoglobin, and they gives the color to the fecal matter. Hemoglobin are break down to form two kinds of the bile pigment, bilirubin and biliverdin, and they both gives a color to the fecal matter. Next one, pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contain two types of the enzyme. First one, amylase, and the second one, lipase. Amylase, they acts on the starch and it convert it into the maltose. Same, the salivary glands also contain the salivary amylase. They convert starch into the maltose. Here also the same one, starch is converted into the maltose in the presence of pancreatic amylase here, not the salivary amylase. Okay. Then second one, lipase. Lipase, they acts on fats. Means the lipase are converted, means your fats are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. And see, the most important, the medium is alkaline here. See, the another function of pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice, it's convert inactive trypsinogen into chymotrypsinogen. Let's see how. First, the inactive trypsinogen is converted into trypsin. Inactive trypsinogen is converted into trypsin, okay, by enterokinase, by the presence of this enzyme, enterokinase, from the intestinal juice. Then there is a trypsinogen is used for the digestion of protein, peptones and proteoses that is formed in a small intestine. Then it is converted into the polypeptides. After that, this chymotrypsinogen is converted into the chymotrypsin. Here we get finally the chymotrypsin. This enterokinase is converted finally into the chymotrypsin into the trypsin as we mentioned above. Then these maltose. Then what about the other? Protein is digested, but what about the other one? See, maltose. Maltose it acts on, see, first word, maltose is converted into the glucose in the presence of maltase. First the starch is converted into the maltose, then maltose is converted into the glucose. Okay. Then sucrase is acts on the sucrose and it converted into the glucose plus fructose. And then lactose and then lactase, this enzyme acts on the lactose and converted into the glucose and galactose. After that, next enzyme, that is a dipeptides, it acts on dipeptides and convert into the amino acid. So finally we get the amino acid. Okay. Now finally this emulsified fat is converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Means in shortly, in small intestine we get our final product, fatty acid, amino acid, glucose, fructose and galactose. This is all about the digestion occurs from the stomach, then small intestine. Okay. In large intestine, only the absorption of water and some solids takes place. Not any kind of the digestion occurs in a large intestine. And the rectum, here the temporary your undigested food is stored. Then see what we call bolus, chyme. Let's see. Bolus means when your food is passed from the buccal cavity into the stomach. From buccal cavity to stomach, here we call it as the bolus. From stomach to small intestine, here we call it from stomach to small intestine, here we call it chyme. And then from small intestine to large intestine, okay, we call it as the chyme. Means three terms are here. First one bolus from your buccal cavity to stomach. Then second one is your chyme, means into the small intestine, and from small intestine to large intestine we call it as a chyme. Then what about the absorption of digested food? See, in the wall of small intestine there is the fine hair like structure is present. We call it as the villi. Okay, and these are the responsible for the absorption of the nutrients that is required by our body. Then it is absorbed into the bloodstream and the undigested food is expelled from your body. We call it as the defecation, or you may call it as the egation. Okay. Now in this session we learn about digestion. I hope in this session all the concepts of human nutrition and digestive systems are clear to you. If any kinds of query in your mind, then please contact the ASQUARE Academy. Thank you for joining the session.